Okay, I want you to hold down the space bar in the perspective area and take a look at it for a second. So space bar is going to bring up a lot of other options. And what Maya is trying to do, at least what I think they're trying to do, is make it so that they hide a lot of these options so you're not overwhelmed. I mean, there is already enough stuff on this screen as it is. So they're trying to hide some of it and make it convenient so you can go and find it whenever you want to, or you need to. So if we now go to click on any of these, they will drop down menus. So you can see File, if you really wanted to save on the fly and not go to the File menu, there it is. Edit will let you copy and paste and group and ungroup. Create will let you add additional shapes. So just take a second, go through and look at these and see what all is there. Shading is going to be really important and exciting when we get into actually making these look like more than just boxes or circles. Okay, so I'm just kind of going through and taking a look and seeing what's there. Is up here along the top of the window, you have some really important buttons right here. You have menus as well, but we have some different options for how we can look at this. What I want you to do with your shape selected is we're going to look for the button right here. It looks like a little hollow cube with just the outlines, and we're going to click on it, and it will say Wireframe. What does Wireframe do? Makes it into a wireframe without using the word in the definition. Makes it so you can see through it, and that's really important when you want to be able to see all the lines. When you have colors in the way, it doesn't let you see inside the shape. So maybe you have interior walls, you want to be able to see where they are and position them, and you want to be able to see through an exterior wall. So that's wireframe. The next button up there allows you to see the entire shape, which says smooth and shade all. Then we also have use default material, which by default means gray. We also have a fourth button up there that says wireframe or shaded. And then we have one that says use all lights. I typically choose uncheck that because I want to be able to see the light on the outside. With your shape selected, let's go over here to the right and go into our attribute editor. Attributes are descriptions of shapes or objects. So you notice the first tab says P cube shape 1. So this has all of the properties that have to do with this particular shape. And some of these are beyond talking about today, but you can kind of open these up and see what options are underneath them, what's hiding. That's on the right side of the screen, Attribute Editor, this whole area over here to the right. Okay, so if we go over to Poly Tweak, we have the ability to go through and make some changes and see some additional attributes. Not as helpful right now for a beginner. I'm going to go to Polycube 1. Polycube 1. Polycube 1 is going to allow you to add additional lines for customization. So what I'm going to do under Polycube 1 is I'm going to change the number of subdivisions. And if I change that little bar there, move it back and forth, it will add additional changes to it. I can change the subdivision height. I can change the division width. The depth of the shape right there if I want to play with it. The height. So there's your height and width if you need to get an exact number. Alright? So what I want to do here is I want to go back to having a very basic cube so that you're all back on the same page with me, because some of your shapes are so different it'd be hard to follow. So what I'm going to do is select my shape with the white arrow and press the delete key, and you may have to delete it in pieces for right now. And don't worry if you don't perfectly get rid of everything for right now. I just want to be able to kind of move that out of the way. Add a cube this time, not a cube, a sphere. So now we have it to play with. And I will just kind of move it out of the way. Again, we hold down the Alt key and the scroll button to move over if I want to move this shape further away. And now we can completely see around this little world, or this sphere. And you will notice that with a sphere, it automatically has a lot of faces. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on the shape and switch over to Face View, select one of those faces, and press the Delete key. Now, I want you to rotate around that shape by holding down the Alt key and the left mouse button, and you will notice it only deleted out that one face. And now if I line up just right, if I scroll in, I can actually, eventually, if I do this just right, I can get inside my shape. And now look around completely from the inside. And you may have to play around with zooming a little bit so that you're not like looking through a wall. And I can hold down the right mouse button and Alt and zoom in and out, or left mouse button and scroll and zoom up. And now I can actually see from inside my shape out. Okay? And I can continue to delete faces if I want to make a bigger opening so I can see out. Or I could eventually just zoom my way in, rotate around, and now I am back outside of my shape. So take a second and practice getting inside your shape and looking around it, and then practice getting out of your shape. Sphere is selected, and what we're going to do is go over to the Move tool and double-click on it. Double-click on the Move tool, and you are going to see some additional options. Like I said, Maya has so many options, you couldn't fit it all on one screen. So they hide some of them, and you just have to learn where they're hidden and get them when you need them. What we're going to do is go under Symmetry, and say Symmetry is, let's see, we want to do Z. I'm sorry, it took me a second to think about it. Object Z. And once Object Z is selected, you just close out this little window. So again, Object Z under Symmetry. You have to come down halfway. Let me zoom in a second and show you guys. So it's under Symmetry, Object Z. We access this little dialog box by double-clicking on the Move tool. All right, close out that box. Now what happens is if we select a face, it is going to select the other one on the other side of the shape. Let me zoom out a little bit so I can see that. And it will select both of them. There it is. I'm trying to find where mine is. Now, here's why that's really important. When you're doing your character modeling, you want to make sure that the arms are symmetrical and that they're the same length, because what it does is it cuts down your modeling time in half. When I was first learning Maya, I didn't even know there was a symmetry feature, and so I did one side of the body, and then I'm like, oh god, I gotta do the other side. And it's hard to get both sides to be exact. Just like if you're freehand drawing, it's hard. So now that we have them both selected, and again, the closer you get, the closer it will select symmetrically. Now if we use the Move tool, it will move both of them together. All right, things can go inward, they can go outward, whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to make it look like their eyes kind of sunken in a little bit. Okay, so here's my shape, and maybe I've got some eyes here. That is symmetry. We could even make it look like there are arms on the sides of my character, so I can begin to kind of put those out, and now I have some kind of goblin character. I don't know, it kind of looks like Kirby from Kirby's Dream Land, at least rough. I can go down along the bottom, and I can put some basic little feet in. Is it starting to look like a little character? So we can very quickly create some horrific looking characters, some things that's, you know, it's not designed for children to play. Okay, so very easy with symmetry to model. Maybe I'm thinking, okay, this little character, he looks a little strange with just one set of legs. Maybe I need to put another set in the back. And now, three-dimensionally, I have a little character that has arms and legs. Okay, this is the reason why children are scared of the dark. This character right here. This character right here will do it.